boy, oh boy. Alright. Is it even active? Yeah, there it goes. It's good. Let's make sure. Let's go to my channel. Make sure to, yep. Yeah, it's working. Gotta make sure it's, yep. Ooh. You know, I'm messing up. What do I think I'm doing? I'm supposed to open up this other thing. Let's see here. Where is it at? There we go. Launch. And we're going to open that as well. Woo. We're going to get into, all right. Yes, go ahead and open that up. All right. Make sure. Automatic connect. Yep. All right. All right. We're going to fix that. All right. Minimize that. Minimize. Alright. X that out. Make sure I, alright. It's probably taking loaded. Channel badges, loaded, global. Alright. Nah, stream's not up. Alright. Everything's a little slow, but it's okay. It's all good. Getting everything all set up. What do I got going on here? Minimize that. Alright, open up this. No, minimize that. Minimize that. Wait, hold on. There we go. Looking for this web browser. Yes, ma'am. What do you want?
I'm done eating.
Okay. What are you telling me for?
I don't know.
Okay. Bye-bye. Glad you finished eating. Uh-huh. Alright. I already did this. This is just extra pages that we're opening. Alright. I'm just trying to figure out what window. There you go. That's the window I wanted. Yep. Price. Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be good. It's good stuff. Alright. Move this over here. Oh! Wheel myself back over. Alright. Well then, let's go ahead and just jump right into the intro. I think, alright, hold on. Let me, go to my channel. Alright. What's this? Copy text. Paste that. Alright. Minimize. And let's jump right into it. Alright. Actually, we're switching to the screen. Welcome, guys. Really excited to have you guys here. Obviously, today we're not going to be playing really any games. Today I'm just going to be working on Pandora's Price. It's just going to be chatting, so if you just want to jump in the chat and ask questions about the universe of Pandora's Price, you're more than welcome to. I'll try to answer the questions as best I can. Really, truthfully, I'm just working on it predominantly as it requires a lot of time to maintain and manage everything, to keep everything up to date so that you guys can stay in the loop as best you can. Well, without further more, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a lot of the working stuff. For the past week, oh, what's up, JD? Welcome, bud. So, going over we've gotten a lot of work done today. So, I'm just going to kind of run through a lot of the developer updates that we have. Last week's updates, we'll kind of go through those as well, real quick. So, for anyone that hasn't gone over to Patreon yet, it's okay. I try to get the notes up to date and keep them up to date as much as possible. A lot of them, I just do it once a week, and on Sundays, I usually release pretty much all the updates we've done for the week prior. Going forward, though, I'm going to try to, tier them up. That way, my higher paid subscribers feel like they really truthfully are on the battlefield as we're going through these updates. And then, of course, as my lower tier subscribers, they will still get information as well, but maybe not just as much as in detail. A lot of people who are on Patreon are familiar with this process. It's nothing new. It's just to give people who pay the extra money for the higher subscriptions to feel like it's worth this money. And I'm not against it. I'm going to make sure that I try to take care of people and do people right. But as I was saying, let me go ahead and... Oh, Katie, thanks for the subscribe, man. I really do appreciate it. That's awesome, dude. Thanks, dude. That's awesome. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to share the love because I think I have my Prime subscription as well. I don't know if you have your subscriber thing on, but I think you do. So I'm going to definitely return the love on that one. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So, with that... Oh, thanks, man. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you want to know more and get up to date and stuff, please. Oh, you don't have it? Well, for the subscribers or the for people to be able to subscribe to you, you don't have it on yet, or have it. Period. I thought you did. You have quite a bit of followers, and you stream very frequently. Oh, are you not affiliate? I thought you was. I thought you were affiliate. Well, not enough people. I turned it down for... Not a problem at all. Not a problem. I completely understand. Yep. You got stuff going on. You don't want to kind of string people on. And quite honestly, I don't blame you. I mean, I was gone from Twitch for like forever, so I do not blame you. I'm pretty much not starting over from scratch, as a lot of my experiences from before I still have them, but I'm pretty much starting over from scratch. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of upkeep and a lot of getting things back up. I will say this much. I don't like how deathly silent it is, so I may put on some music in the background. I'm going to try to, hopefully it doesn't feedback too much. So, I don't pay for, what's it called? Actually, you know what? When in doubt, YouTube it out. I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to let YouTube play some background music. That way I can kind of, set the mood while I work. Because who likes working in silence? Not me. I don't like working in silence, especially if I'm doing a lot of stuff. So what should I do? What's that? Let's do background music. Yeah. Alright, so actually talking about epic background music I was privy to learn that this one program is called Momentum Studios, and they released this product called like Epic Fantasy. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but I had bought a lot of their products over the years, and for the longest time, I thought it was like this like streaming thing because I didn't know there was two versions. There you could do the streaming thing, which is a month to month thing, or there's a buy me outright and you can have all my stuff. So I've done both. I've done the buy me outright and I've done the month to month service, and I didn't know what was the difference. But one day I was kind of like, yeah, I want to know if they have copyright licenses because I really like a lot of their stuff. Come to find out, as long as you don't resell their stuff, you can use the music wherever, however you want. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm definitely going to how to say I'm definitely going to download their library again because it used to happen on one of my hard drives. I don't know which one it is, and I don't know where it's at. And I'm going to use a lot of their music for a lot of the videos and stuff that I narrate. Well, narrate, edit. I mean, I got podcasts that I have to edit, so it'd be nice adding a little secondary music. I have videos that I need to edit. Well, we don't have any nut run right now besides the last one I just did. Of course, more for future use as well. But I got a lot of podcasts I need to edit, and who doesn't like a little bit of background music? So more to come on that with that one. Let me go ahead and pick one of these right here. How long is this? 4 hours and 24 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna go with this one because it has like a whole bunch of.
All your next
We're gonna
is one AI video editor on Fiverr.
I'm gonna make it kind of quiet. That way, it's not too loud. So you guys just have to let me know if it's feedbacking too much. So I think I'm gonna try to make sure it's not feedbacking too much. It might be feedbacking, but it'll be fine. It's doing all right. Should be. Alright, okay. I mute myself. That way I'm not looping to the video as well. Alright. Freaking awesome. So let's get back to work. This one I'm gonna have to half screen this with this window. There we go. That way I can have this one minimize. So I got work to do over here. Alright. We're gonna be that's the stream. Keep the stream up over there. Alright, library. Yep, that post is good. Patreon. This is a library. I don't know why I have two library tabs open. What's this notification for? Oh! Super awesome. Oh, wow. You just joined the group. Let's go. You didn't do it like 4 hours ago. Yay! We have 4 people now in Pandora's Price. Can't be mad, but let's go ahead and get in with these notes and stuff. I like to see yeah, there we go. I like to try to keep my page up for Twitch because for whatever reason or another, I can't see, at least as far as OBS Studio, maybe I just slow in the brain, but I don't know how I can make it to where I can see my channel's activity. So I know if people are in the chat room or not, because I don't want people to show up. I completely don't know they're there and ignore them. So please excuse me, but welcome to the stream. I'm just working on Pandora's Price. It's a universe. Well, it's a universe that it contemplates a TTRPG, a war game, a card game, and a novel with various short story series in between. I'm the community manager for the system. Yeah, I don't think I can see who's there, but like at least a counter would be kind of nice. That way I can, know who is, if anyone comes into the window. Like, for example, like on Twitch, I can see there's two people. Me, because I'm watching the stream, and then yourself. Oh, you can? Oh, well, that'd be awesome. We could look into that if you want, but you don't have to right now. It's not like don't get me wrong, it is not a deal breaker right now. It's just, something that would be something I could look forward to using, because like, for example, I do have the stream up, but like for moments like today, I need to tab out of the stream so I can go to Patreon or go, because right now I got both my screens. My right screen has all the stuff I'm working on, and then my left screen I have it split in half with OBS and then my internet page. But don't worry about it right now, JD. You just do you, hang out, enjoy the stream. I'm just gonna be talking and speaking out loud on what I'm doing because I'm trying to get traffic. See, I'm using, you're using Restream. I'm not gonna tell you the truth. I don't know what Restream is. Free plan. Okay, what is Restream? What is Restream? I don't know what Restream is. Honestly, I have no clue what that is. Is it like OBS? Or is it like an overlay or something? So like, what's it called? Streamlabs, their little launcher thing can do that, but you gotta pay money to use it. And I was like, nah. Excuse me. See, what I do right now is that I like stream to Twitch and then I'll export it to YouTube for later. I've never gone live on YouTube before. Same thing for TikTok. I'll like clip up stuff from streams and then I'll send them to TikTok. Like my last stream I did on Friday was for Stellaris but for whatever reason the audio was so bad because my brother's mic is super loud. He like devours the mic. Yeah. Hold on, I gotta respond back to a text message. Let's see. Oh, kids being kids. Sorry about that. Let me respond back to this text message. Ruth and I'm also using a free overlay to see chat live, close Twitch chat overlay. Huh, yeah, my overlay that I use is on Stream Elements. I mean, yeah, I seen how yours on, like, it'll show like the messages in on your stream, and I guess you can kind of see them pop up on, I don't know, I guess it's on OBS, or, well, it's an overlay, so it'll show up on OBS, that way you can see them. But in OBS you have the little chat window as well. Let me respond now. Text message will just have to respond to like, oh, okay, I need to respond to my brother really quick. Because he had messaged me too. To hang out. Let's see, alright, great. So, Bro, not to dilly-dally too much longer off the beaten path, really do the information JD, I didn't know. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about Pandora's Price, since this is, Pandora's Price. Well, the stream is me just chatting, and it's going to be predominantly about Pandora's Price. I'm working on the developer's notes right now. So, let's see. Okay. So, from last week, just to give people a top-down overview, I pretty much made a tracker, or well, not a tracker, a dev notes log, so that we can be able to keep transparency between us and the community. I want people to basically kind of keep a track of where we're at, where we're going, what our progress is, and what the future looks like. And I'm going to be honest, straight up. I personally have not used Patreon on a regular basis. I'm pretty much learning the ins and outs of just going on the internet, watching YouTube videos, asking other people who've either used or gone on Patreon for various different stuff. And then I'm basically taking that knowledge and trying to mirror it to a idea of how do I do marketing, viewership, and still be a developer and be the community manager at the same time without none of them stepping on each other's toes. So why not you just combine all of them? So I figured it'd be best to be able to increase viewership for Pandora's Price by literally streaming on Twitch and talking about Pandora's Price. So quick note, I joined Pandora's Price roughly about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now. My coworker, the creator and founder of Pandora's Price, his name is Tyler Chef. About that time ago, what's up, Kendrick? Thanks for coming to the stream. I mean, we can play a game later, but right now, really, I'm just predominantly working on Pandora's Price because, like I told you, it's pretty much a full-time job, and if I want Pandora's Price to really truthfully make it out to the world, I have to do my part and really put the leg in for it. But you're more than welcome to, hang out, ask questions. I'm going to be talking about Pandora's Price pretty much this entire stream. I usually stream for about 3 hours. Today, I'm just going to stream until I'm done with the work. Once I'm done with all my updates and putting things out, I'll probably switch over to playing a game. And if that's it, of course, it's not bedtime because I got to work in the morning. But not to digress anymore. Let's go ahead and talk about last week's updates. So, for the novel, we managed to get chapters 1 through 3 pretty much out of drafting into pretty much, well, actually, it was done with editing and drafting the week prior. So we ended up releasing chapter 1 to the public, chapter 2s and 3 to my highest tier subscribers so that they can enjoy the story. For those who have, this is pretty much me going off of everything because I know people haven't been on our Patreon or don't even know it really exists. So I'm just kind of going out and just putting that information out there. So moving on, the war game. We ended up setting up, our system focus was developing and creating the general rules. Pretty much hammering out the stuff that kind of lay the bed foundation for the general rules for the war game. And I'm kind of reading through my notes here, so I'm pretty much speaking on my notes. You can see these same notes in Patreon. These notes are also available. These setup notes are also available to everyone because it's just general notes. Now, we do have more detailed notes that kind of go into what exactly we did to the systems, but I reserve those for our highest paid subscribers. For everyone else, such as me streaming on Twitch, putting stuff on TikTok, on YouTube, this is predominantly me kind of telling you the information that's already free and accessible to the public. So, general rules got completed. Editing formatted was completed, will be completed later. That's still on track. Unit types rulings are ongoing. Terminology, this, that. Pretty much we were trying to, if anyone has played Warhammer, the big rulebook, BRB, pretty much that's what that is. We're just trying to make our own big rulebook so that people can play the game. Notes and insights were dedicated to infantry mannequins to establish and to be stress tested. Again, these are just the previous week notes. I'm just reading them here on stream so that people can get to know where we're at and how to feel out the story as a whole. Vehicle mannequin to be determined. It's prototype right now, and to kind of go over what the mannequin entails. In our war game, Pandora's Prize, we wanted to be able to introduce a way for people to bring in their own miniatures, their own vehicles, their own whatever they wanted, this, that, and the other, so that people can play our war game without being restricted to, oh, hate to throw shit at Games Workshop, but Games Workshop is either my way or the highway, and you'll buy my miniatures. Here's $60 for one box of Space Marines. Let me go ahead and spend $150 over here on this one vehicle kit, and then let me spend $40 over here on a commander unit, which, and if no one didn't know, and of course for me it was news to me, that is not enough to play an official game in Warhammer. Some games, like home games, like, you know, beer and what does the saying go? Beer and snack type of games. Sure, we can play that. But you know, a lot of the major circles of Warhammer, 500 points, 1,000 points, and beyond. So if you don't have, you know, those minimum requirements, you ain't playing. And that is disincluding the fact that they have to be painted, they have to be kitted out with the right weapons and equipment, and you have to know how to play the game because you need your codex, you need the big rule book, and Lord knows, hopefully you got your codex before they had an update next month, because once the update happens, guess what? If you're playing in an official game, that old codex that you just bought a month ago is now invalid. So to try to make things easier and more, you know, budget friendly for people, because let's be honest, life is not cheap. And I don't know about you, I would love for things to get better and things to be not as expensive, but I have to be optimistic. Marketing wise, I need to build something that will last long. I don't want it to be this whole cash grab, paywall. Yes, people's times is valuable, and you know, we put a lot of work and effort in this outside of our full-time jobs working on this. But what I'm not gonna do is turn around and make you pay for every little thing that you need in order to play our game. So that was why the mannequin was developed, to be able to allow you to take all those miniatures from Warhammer, all those miniatures from D&D, all those miniatures and in-betweens from all these other game systems. I mean, scratch that. You can bring your daughter's Barbie doll, you can bring your son's action figure. Worst case, use a Cheeto Puff. Yes, a snack, a Cheeto Puff. As long as that Cheeto Puff is identified by what position it's playing and it has stats assigned to it, use the dang Cheeto Puff. Who cares? In an official game, you can't do that. But if you're just playing with friends, use the Cheeto Puff. Just remember when the Cheeto Puff dies to eat the Cheeto Puff and the Cheeto Puff died. Unless you plan on using that Cheeto Puff again for the next round. I digress. That's pretty much the idea around the mannequin, which is in development. So more to come out for that. As for the TTRPG, again, these are progress notes from last week. I'm working on the new ones right now as we speak, but I just want to kind of get a feel to let people know, hey, this is where we was. And we're working on this every single day. So, talking about the TTRPG, the tabletop within our universe. For those who aren't familiar, tabletops, which is pretty much like D&D, GARPs, you know, games like that. The tabletop for us is skill-based, but as for last week, no, we released a player scroll available to everyone that is a paid subscriber. So basically, our lowest tier subscription is $3, and it was 95% completed in terms of formatting, editing, rule verification, the whole shebang. And we were in the middle of developing the foundry pieces needed for the market stall within the game. a lot of moving pieces in order for the player scroll to work, but we like synergy throughout all of our stuff that we offer for our entire system. Everything from the war game, the TTRPG, even the novels have synergy with each other within the universe. Every last one of them fulfills an objective for Pandora's Price, because we want that. We want that for people to be able to experience the game, experience the universe how they want to. Whether they just strictly into TTRPGs, guess what? You play the TTRPG and you still get to enjoy the story as much as you can. You only want it in for the war games, you get to experience a different point of view for the entire universe from the war game standpoint. You just want to read novels because you love novels, then just read the novels. You get to be truly, get that in-depth feel for each individual character within the universe of Pandora's Price. And, unlike the TTRPG, which is pretty much just like a one-road kind of story campaign, and then the war game, which is various battlefields, the novel gets you to introduce and learn about each individual character and how they are. On our Patreon page, there's on Tuesdays, we have this thing that I like to do. It's called Story Tuesday, and right now we're currently in this story called the next drop for the novel. So on Monday, tomorrow, our next 2 drops for the novel for the King of Sand has just been pushed, and this is chapters 4 and 5. As for chapters 2 and 3, I just like maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago have shifted them from being just to my highest Patreon subscribers available to all subscribers. So if you're a subscriber on our Patreon page, you can go up there and review chapters 2 and 3. Okay, so to answer your question, Andrew, welcome to the stream, man. I really appreciate you dropping in. So in terms of 3rd edition rule set, it's not going to really apply for our system. Our system is literally hugely and predominantly set to skill-based checks throughout the system. Now, let me explain a little bit here. So, not to raise any confusion. Now, say you have a character from D&D, okay? Say you have a character from D&D, and you want to bring it over to Pandora's Price. We have a feature within the player scroll that allows you to port characters in, and a lot of the stuff is translatable from D&D to Pandora's Price because everything's skill based. So everything that you from, let's say, I don't know, swinging a sword or melee, unarmed combat or ranged combat, everything has a skill assigned to it in Pandora's Price. Now, the reason why D&D rules can't work in Pandora's Price is because a lot of the checks and stuff kind of don't work as well in Pandora's Price because of how Pandora's Price operates, if that answers your question, Andrew. So, I hope that answers it. If you want, you can go to our Patreon page and kind of get a little bit more deets on it. As time marches on throughout the weeks coming forward, we will be releasing more informationals on our podcast about different features and mechanics within Pandora's Price. And I'll be trying to get the founder, when he's not busy, working on Pandora's Price and, doing everything between, that is being a blue-collar worker. I'm also a blue-collar worker. We work together at our job. So when we're not working, we're here raising our families, doing what we have to do as parents and husbands. And then when we're done doing that, we shift over to working on Pandora's Price until it's pretty much bedtime. Then we wake up and do it all over again. But not to get into too much of that, to kind of iron out everything, we have to work on it pretty much every day. So, not to delineate too far from the weekly updates, like I said, the player scroll is available on our Patreon page to all paid subscribers, and the lowest tier is $3. So if you want to subscribe and donate $3, you don't have to, but if you wanted access to the player scroll so you can kind of go through and look at it yourself and kind of see where, compare and contrast a little bit between the two. What's up? Question my question. Dark Kendrick. What do you mean by question my question? Did you ask a question and then I missed it? I do apologize if I did. There's a lot of, I probably need to, actually, you know what, better yet, I'm probably going to turn off this. I'm going to turn off my chatbot. I'm gonna close it out because it's going haywire right now, posting all these different questions, and it looks like I missed your question above. Let me scroll up. Right. Have you heard of web novel app? Oh, like webtoons and stuff. Yeah, we also have ideas for that. Oh, as for, hold on real quick, Andrew. I'll answer that question for you because it is different, and I'll explain why. Kendrick, to answer your question, as for web novels, we do have ideas of wanting to do web novels, but at this current time, we're just going to focus on getting you guys all the cool nitbits that we have to offer for you guys. As for you, Andrew, to answer your question, it is 100% different than using a D20 because in our system, we introduced a D100 system. That's why a lot of the rules in D&D kind of just blip out the window for us because we use D100s. For example, let's go do a skill check. Skill check on, I don't know, we'll say this pen, for example. I'm going to use this pen to forge a letter. Forging a letter is a skill, and it could be associated with, deception. We'll just say deception. We treat deception as a skill, just like D&D does, but we do it a little different. Instead of there being like a +3 or +2 on deception onto your roll, in Pandora's Price, deception we would assign closely aligned up with wisdom or intellect, and whatever your modifier is, and whatever your skill is in deception. So for example, say your skill in deception is a 40. And again, this is where the skill system kind of runs, is that it ranges on a D100 scale. So if your deception is a 40, your only goal is to roll that D100 and achieve a number higher than 40. And depending on how many levels you roll above it, we call those levels of success, there's only 2, will determine the outcome. So back to my previous example of forging a letter, you roll your D100, say you get a 70. You've successfully passed the skill check to forge that letter, and then of course you add on your modifier onto that roll further. Of course you obviously passed, but you successfully forged that letter, and because you ranged above 2 levels of success, which is literally 20 points, you further secure, if not made it better. Now, there is a critical threshold in the game where if you roll a 96 to a 100, which is roughly, about 4%, well, 2%, 4 or 2%, I don't remember. 4%. It's 2% on the D20, 4% on the D100 system. They math it out. They're all the same. It's still 2% when you reduce it down. That's our critical success threshold where it's pretty much a nat 20. So I hope that answers your question, Andrew. Kendrick, your question. Well, you could post your novel on web novel app and push it out to people. So yes, like I said, that would be awesome to do, but in my mind, I wanted to go about it a different way for the web novels kind of approach. We could, but the thing is, we would have to chop it down even further because like on Patreon, I'm giving you whole chapters, and then you guys take your how many long to read. But like on a web novel, I would have to extra work, of course, chop it up even smaller and release. Like chapter 1 would come out in like 5 separate pieces, and really that's like a lot. And right now I'm in foundation building phase where I'm trying to get all these things out to you guys so that you guys can get them now rather than later. Once I finally get a good like base, and maybe right now it's just me and my coworker working on these projects. It's just me and him. And not to slow anything down and delineate from the standard we've set for ourselves, I just don't want to add on another aspect that I know would do well for us. But let me master the aspects I have, the resources I have accessible to me now, like Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and then if for whatever reason we do have some time to do the various web novel apps, we could. But as of right now, I don't want to overburden myself. If that answers your question, Kendrick. Now, back to the updates from last week. Our goals were to set for ourselves. We wanted to be able to finally get chapters 1 and 3 fully formatted and edited. Oh yeah, It's D&D like, it's just a different theme. A lot of our rules are, a lot of our requirements and rule checks and skill checks and stuff, and difficulty settings are a lot higher than D&D. I'm just gonna be honest. The way we do our skill points and stuff, and how to offer them out and whatnot, and character creation. For example, character creation is a lot different than D&D. It's a lot more hands-on type of aspect, and it really truly gives you an opportunity to kind of really flesh out your character a lot farther than D&D. I'm not even going to tell you any untruths. Like in D&D, unless you make the character like handcrafted yourself, the character creation process for D&D is just very, how to say, flavorless. Not bland, just flavorless as in like, well, I guess bland and flavorless would be the same thing. Let me step that back. Not flavorless, more like it's lacking seasoning. And a lot of people do homebrew sessions because it's just lacking in some aspects. And playing like rules as written for D&D is like sometimes like pulling teeth. And me personally, I do predominantly homebrew over actually playing D&D specific rules, unless it's like for certain aspects of like skill checks and stuff. Pandora's Price, on the other hand, the whole flavor filling experience and everything is literally built into the framework from the beginning. So if you want to add on extra, the framework is already there to allow you to be able to add on those extra aspects onto your character based off the narrative you want to create. Like how many people have ever taken the time when they're making a character, their character's backstory, they create it, and it's just a story of your character's backstory. Now, some GMs may take the opportunity to award you extra skills, extra points and stuff based off your background because it really was nice. Well, in Pandora's Price, you don't have to worry about that because the backstories that are already there afford you extra perks and pros. And then if you do go that extra leg and add in those extra niche details for your background outside of what's already presented in the player's scroll, there's already a system in place to offer you those skill points. So, and I'm almost done with the update here, the last week's update. Finish off the war game. We wanted to try to get the core rules, or the core rules for the rule book or the general rule book done. We wanted it all finished so that we could start testing and checking units and stuff. Mainly the first one was infantry. After that, kind of fleshing out the infantry and stuff, we wanted to test them all out to make sure it all works. For the TTRPG, the main goal is to finish the foundry so we can finish the market stall section within the player scroll, which the market section, think of it as the shop, lack of better words, compared to D&D's little shop chapter. The market stall is a section that pretty much offers you all these different cool niche things for you when you make your character. And it's part of the character creation process. D&D, your character creation process can end in one of two places. It can either end after you make the character and you don't buy any of the equipment because your background can afford your stuff, or you take the time to take the little bit of gold that your background offered you when you made your character to buy equipment in the equipments tab for the rulebook in Dungeons and Dragons. But not to go up too far, so we can get into the newer things that for you guys to look forward to. That was last week's developer notes, which again is available on our Patreon page. You can go up there and look at them yourself and read them through. I kind of just give you a high summary of what we're working on, so not to delineate too far for that. Actually, better yet, let me go ahead and see if I can bring up my page here. I'm gonna show you guys that way. I'll show you on live, that way you can see them. Because a lot of people ask, like, what's your Patreon and stuff, so it'd be easier for me to kind of just show you. Let me open up the view page. I'm gonna switch my my stream here real quick, and then I'll bring it back to the live, or bring it back to the just talking to. So, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So here's our Patreon page. So right now, It's Pandora's Price. Kind of get a brief little, hello and welcome to the universe of Pandora's Price. Scrolling down a little bit. We're also, like I said, we're going to try to do podcasts because a lot of the things is just best explained in person. Like, I could tell you read the player scroll for character creation, but a lot of us are pretty used to the character creation process for Dungeons and Dragons and whatever other various TTRPGs out there that exist. People have questions, and they're going to want to know. So, as we move on down the line, we plan on releasing small little podcasts that are not terribly long. Some of the longer ones will probably be attached to other sections like Lore Friday and just put up there just for happenstance. Oh, yes, there will be we call it the bestiary. That is our version of the monster manual, that like D&D, but the bestiary is where you'll find beast. We also have this other manual called the Sapient, the Codex Geneticus Sapient, which is pretty much creatures that are pretty much sapient. And actually, let me go ahead. I can pull up that. I don't know why I didn't just pull it up. Let's see. Go in here. 1 second. I gotta pull it up. Here we go. Okay, so Bestiary and the Sapient. Pretty much, those are two projects that we are going to be working on to be able to create here is all the beast, and here is, well, really, truthfully, it's like, here are some beast. It's not all of the beast, because I don't know, last time I checked, who's got time to catalog an entire universe's worth of creatures? As much as I would love to sit here and try and do it, it'll be a lot. But to kind of give you guys a good idea of some of the biomes and different planets and different species of beasts that come from those, that will be kind of like that direction. Because the idea is to give you a framework, but not to railroad you. We want to expose you to creatures in the universe, not these are the only creatures in the universe, if that makes sense. Same thing goes for the sapient species. We don't want to railroad you into these are the only species only. So just to kind of paint the picture here, framework, not railroad. I don't want to railroad people into doing what the rules say. We want to give you hey, these are things you could look at. So that is the two things to kind of answer your question, Andrew. It's just the two manuals that you'll be utilizing as the GM to, and we don't call them GMs, we call them judges in Pandora's Price. Yes, it's going to be a huge culture shock whenever people realize that in Pandora's Price, when you're playing Pandora's Price, you are not a GM anymore, you are now identified as a judge. Of course, the term judge has its own backstory and information, but you'll just have to wait and see how that all washes out. Back to our Patreon page. Here's our Patreon page. So if you want to, look us up, and if you see this page when you get there, more than welcome to BDBBop the information. Like I said, we're going to be doing podcasts to kind of explain a lot of the more complicated topics and the lore of the universe. I've been trying to keep posts and updates and, throughout the week and stuff. This one right here is a introductory video that I made myself. Unfortunately, at this current time, I'm not very artistic by no means, and neither is the creator and founder of Pandora's Price. We're just not. I don't know how to draw. I can make you some stick figures, and he can make you some down-drawn 3D art. Whatever. And we don't feel like you guys deserve that kind of visual representation for our universe. And a lot of people love seeing pictures and artwork for universes. And the prices that people like on Fiverr have been saying for a lot of stuff we need. I don't know about you guys, but $250 for, for example, a campaign map is insane. I still work a full-time job and have a whole family to take care of. And like I said, we're new to Patreon, so we don't really have that much viewership and framework for money and whatnot to be able to pay for said pictures. And I am not going to come up here and start talking about, oh, give us money so you can help us make pictures. It's all donation based. It's crowdfunding. If you want to give us money, just know that that money, once enough has been collected, will go to pictures. That'll be the first thing. These AI art, like this right here, all of the artwork that you see here is AI generated, based off as a set as a concept. Not this is the real thing. It is a concept as close as possible that we can get to give you the best visual representation of what it is you're looking at. So please, 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 please do not, strangle us or anything. We know we hate AI generated art because it takes away, potential opportunities for artists that, would love to get these opportunities to generate art for us. But I don't have the money to be able to pay these artists for their hard work and effort when it comes to drawing a lot of these drawings. Because a lot of this stuff does exist in terms of like fantasy settings, but in terms of a fiction and a real setting, non-fiction I should say, it does not exist. And a lot of these, I've not even seen the amalgamation combination of a lot of this stuff. So to have a concept AI generated to be able to give them a better idea of what it is you're looking at, I think it's better than nothing. It helps increase immersion. Guys work on getting an artist. Okay, so like I was saying, to get an artist, there's multiple routes you can do. Now, we could ask somebody to do it for free, like hire someone and they have to do it for free until we can pay them for their work. Is one way. So basically hiring to get people to apply and hire. Next way, Fiverr, which is pretty much, think of it as like, come up here and hey, I do this kind of work. I cost this much for commission. And if you want commercial rights, you got to pay me an extra money to get it commercially drawn. Which, that's what we need. We need an artist who will give us the artwork to use commercially. And that costs a lot of money. Like, a lot. You can go somewhere from like $75 all the way to $1,000 for some of this artwork done by these people on Fiverr. And if we want good artwork and not crappy artwork, we are gonna have to fork out some money to do that. So not to delineate any of that and rip people off for their skills as artists and stuff. We just said, okay, until we can get the money to pay for this product, we're just gonna have to do AI generated and ask for forgiveness from all the people who choose to subscribe to us, and even people who just cast our page. Like, I think on every post every time I post a post with pictures and stuff, I always put, this is AI generated, set as a concept image, so that people know that it's not like legit the real picture. Because some people really do, and it's okay, it's fine. People can definitely get defensive about, their craft, because that's their whole lives. The idea of a starving artist, in the beginning, you're literally just reliant on getting some gigs so that you can start generating money. Well, guess what? For us, our version of starving artists is the fact that we can't get pictures because we have to save money for that. Save money. Like I said, I'm not going to come up here and be like, hey, give us money so we can buy pictures. You have to be willing. Oh, yes, absolutely. Would we try to do a crowdfunding campaign to get artwork and stuff done in the future? Yeah. But to me, the most important thing I think would be is to get like actual stuff out there to you guys so you can see what it is you're going to be paying for. If I just come up here day one to Patreon and say, hey, we want $1,000 to get pictures, you're gonna be like, what am I giving $1,000 for? And for what? Pictures for what? Because there's been times where people go and crowdfund a Patreon and then the money just disappears and then you never hear from them again. So I think that this is the best way to go about stuff. But all right, so let's go over a couple of a lot of our recent posts and stuff. Like I said, audio. We put an intro up here to kind of intro to the universe, which is right here. Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. This was something I was going to reserve a little bit later, but I definitely will give you a little sneak idea on how we do our campaigns at Pandora's Price. Let me get out of this real quick, sorry. So in Pandora's Prize, because we know people's time is valuable and not everybody has a million years to play an entire campaign, because let's be honest, you start a campaign in D&D, you finally find a way to get enough people to get into a room to play Dungeons & Dragons, and then session 0 happens, you do it. Then you try to go to session 1, and then half the people can't even come because life shows up and it's like, yes, I'm here. So we've did away, because originally we was going to do the traditional campaign book, sit down for a year and a half, play the game. Nope, we botched that, threw that out the window, and decided to introduce just pretty much short story campaigns. And we broke it up even further to where this whole short story campaign, we broke up into this new idea called episodes. So we have seasons. We don't do campaigns, we do seasons. So season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and so on and so forth. And then within each season, we have episodes. And those episodes are pretty much, you're asking like the one shot for that part of the story. And combined, it makes the entire campaign. So, and the idea was to be able to drop, pretty much you could pick up any episode within the season and play the game. There's no need to start from episode 1 and go all the way to episode whatever, you know? But we knew people's time was very valuable, and we came from the idea of how can we help people save money, and how can we help people not spend a million years playing the campaigns without them losing everything. Alright? We make the books smaller, and we try to cut back on the cost up front. Now, as time goes on, you know, you'd have to pay for each individual item, but it will not, you would pay less buying each individual storybook from us before you have spent the entire $45 to $60 on one campaign book from Dungeons & Dragons. It's just what we're trying to go for. Affordability and time. Save people's money in their pockets, and then respect people's time. So you can pick up an episode, and we try to do a field test of how long it takes for one episode to get done. And I think if everyone's on their P's and Q's, you could do, for example, one episode. It's one of our beginning ones. One episode you probably could do in like, a veteran group could do one episode in 2 sessions. A less experienced group could probably do one episode in 3 to 4 sessions, depending on how grouping works. It all depends on if people decide they want to show up, and let's party split immediately. Of course, party splitting really slows down the games, but we took it to the idea that if there is party splits, we don't want the game to slow down to a snail's pace, because half the experienced players are over here, the other half that's not experienced is over there. So we kind of fully embraced the idea of one-shots for everything that is a campaign. And the best thing is that you don't even have to play any of our campaigns with the player scroll, because the player scroll rules you can take into a D&D setting campaign and use the same thing. And it works. We just made them translatable. And it's not even just for D&D. I use D&D as the main reference because a lot of people are familiar with D&D, and they get a better understanding, but it works for more than just D&D. It works for GARPs as well, if anyone's familiar with GARPs. GARPs is probably the closest thing I could say in terms of just raw skill required to play to our system. Our system just takes it a little bit further. So, alright, so I'm gonna ditch this, switch back to my other overlay here. But that was our Patreon page, so if you guys if you needed to find or look for it, now you know. Again, I hope that answers your question, Andrew, about the whole one-shot aspect, because we agree that one-shots are very important because people's time is important. The biggest factor in playing a RPG, TTRPG, is time. And because people lack a lot of time, they never even get to finish a campaign to completion because time ruined it. But I digress. Not too much, because I love asking these questions, but I want to make sure I come and tell you what it is, why I'm streaming. I'm streaming this because I want to tell you about Pandora's Price. I want to answer all your questions about Pandora's Price. At the same time, I don't want a moment's stone to be unflicked, and I want people to get excited for Pandora's Price just like I am right now, just like everyone we talk to about it, because I know it's going to be awesome. It's just a different experience, because the people who want that deeper level of like that deeper challenge can get this deeper challenge playing Pandora's Price. The people who want that deeper level of customization, you'll get that with Pandora's Price. Those people who really love making cool and unique items and equipment and creations can enjoy that in Pandora's Price. And then the people who are just here to kill and play the story, you will get that playing Pandora's Price. You won't have to go to some other system. The idea is you shouldn't, and if you do, that's fine, but you shouldn't have to jump ship to other games to get certain gratifications or satiations to certain parts of your playing experience. So, but work on the week 2 draft before we get to that. Things to look forward to. Story Tuesday. I'll be dropping episode 2 out for the short story series. Well, we have a million short stories. I literally cannot front. We literally have a bunch of short stories that we've taken the time to develop and create for the universe about different aspects. And one of the short stories that I picked, I really love this place. It's called Meriden. I'll be dropping episode 2 out on Thursday. This Friday, Lore Friday, I will be dropping one of the podcast videos for the initial point, the origin, one of the not the origin, but a origin point. Yes, episode 2 will be coming out on Tuesday. So if you really love part 1, episode 1 for the short story, please tune in Tuesday for episode 2 of the short story. If you haven't seen episode 1 of the short story, go on our Patreon page. It's up there for you to see. Of course, if you're a paid subscriber, you will be able to read these short stories. But there is things up there for free users as well, like chapter 1 of King of Sand. If you're free, you can read it. You can read King of Sand. And there's a lot of other posts up there that you can read that are free. Little tidbits and stuff. Yeah, if only people knew. But as you know, the short stories come out, the episodes of that particular short story come out, just look forward to those. It's a 9-part series. 9-part series short story. 9-part series. I had to divide it into 9 parts in order to tell the whole story. Because I want people to be able to stomach it, process it, and then move on to the next yummy bit. Because every week we have a lot of stuff coming out, so I don't want people bogged down reading an entire book before they can read all the other good stuff. Now, figures. Now, I'm gonna go out of a limb here and talk about miniatures and stuff. As of right now, we have a idea of how we kind of want it to go. Do you need miniatures to play the game? Like D&D? No, you don't. You don't need miniatures. But if you have miniatures from D&D and you want to use them in Pandora's Price, by all means, knock yourself out. Go right ahead. But as for miniatures coming out as the game comes out, probably not, because the idea we wanted to go with is to make miniatures for main sequence characters first, and then, go from there. Maybe we might get a contract with Hero Forge. Who knows? You never know. Yeah, I would like to be able to give you miniatures out day 1, but that also costs money, and I know people love figures when they play D&D. You can bring your figures from D&D or whatever tabletop you have, or war game if you want, it doesn't really matter, and use them in Pandora's Price. It's totally up to you. But as for miniatures coming out day 1, it would be more of like not a day 1 thing, like a let's see how everything washes out in sales and stuff, and then let's take that money to create STLs for miniatures, and then give you guys, the community, the future customers, the STLs to print your own miniatures. If you want to buy them from us, sure, by all means, but we'd rather give you the ability to create your own miniatures. That way you're not having to, oh, my miniature broke, now I gotta go buy another one. Oh, wait, a lot of people have 3D printers nowadays, even like the little small ones. People have them. They're just such a common thing now. I remember when 3D printers were like myth and legend. Now every other household has one. Dang, some people have 3D printers and not regular printers, which is crazy work that you have a 3D printer rather than a regular printer. But hey, priorities. Absolutely. We've talked about that too. The idea is that we would like to find a studio. And here's my thing. I have a really strong sense of like helping the little person, essentially. Like there's a lot of indie studios out there that do amazing work because they really put their heart and soul into it. Because, it may be a big break for them if they do really well and whatever, riding each other's coattails. Like, for example, the people who did Expedition 33. Expedition 33, they were an indie studio. They were really small. There was like literally no one. But guess what? Those guys went for Game of the Year and won. That game was amazing. So I would love to find an indie studio who's on the up and up and be like, hey, we have a crazy idea. We would love for you guys to make this video game adaptation of this aspect of Pandora's Prize. We've really thought about it. We've thought about that. We thought of having a TV show. We thought of having a movie. We thought of having all these different adaptations. Shoot, we have even fantasized of maybe even having a potential crossover with something. Who knows? We don't know. But yes, we thought of video games. Yes, we thought of having a TV show. Yes, we thought of having movies. Yes, we thought of wanting to create web novels. We've thought of all of that stuff, but everything has to ride on the back of us starting at the foundation. And in the foundation, we need to set the stage of what is Pandora's Prize. And my goal as the community manager and also co-developer alongside with the creator and founder of the universe, which I don't know if you guys read the welcome aboard thing or whatever in the Patreon page. He was working on this project 17 years before I showed up to work with him. 17 years. That's 17 years by himself working on Pandora's Prize. It has gone through so many different changes and evolutions since the beginning. Don't worry. I want to take the opportunity to show you the history of Pandora's Prize and where it came from and to what it is now, because you guys deserve to know that we've really been putting some bacon grease on the fire here to develop this system so it is playable, so it's enjoyable, and it's not like overbearing. Yes, I say it's really skill-based and it's definitely a bigger it provides more of a challenge for people, but it also works for people who just want basic, hey, I want to play Pandora's Prize now. Okay, here, let's do the, which we're introducing a version of the game called the Tim Edition, which is basically like if you guys are familiar, like the starter kits for D&D, where you get pretty much 5 pre-generated characters. You get the intro book, the campaign book, which is literally the GM's book, and the campaign book in one. And then you get some dice. You get some of the higher priced starter kits have miniatures in them. The other ones have the little coins or whatever to use. And then you can start playing the game. We're gonna do the same thing for Pandora's Prize, the Tim edition of the same content that we're offering for the regular edition. The only caveat for the Tim edition is that it will literally just pretty much reiterate the player scroll and important aspects of it, and move over to playing certain story arcs, which again, like I said, our campaigns are seasons, and each episode within the season is treated as a one shot, where you will have to sit down for maybe 2 or 3 sessions, and I'm just going off of 2 or 3 sessions. Yes, that one right there, Andrew. That one right there. I just want you guys to recognize that that right there is important. I'm pinning that message for 20 minutes. I want people to see Andrew, and thanks, Andrew. I really do appreciate that. He said it right there. AA studios have been doing such a better job than AAA studios as of current. For example, why has it been 15 years since Elder Scrolls 6 has been announced and it has yet to been followed through? GTA 6, why is it plus 10 years and we're finally getting the GTA 6 is coming out this year, which, by the way, if you don't know, it got pushed back to the end of this year, and I'm hoping that they don't, give us the shovel and put us into 2027. They'd just be kicking the can down the road. I just don't want to get in bed with any of those studios if that's their quality of, work and stuff. I literally don't want that. So that's why I say AA studios would be the move, because they really do put that work in. They take projects that are given to them and really lock in and push it out like it's supposed to. They don't skimp on details, they add in details. They don't skimp on lore, they add in lore. They paint the world how whatever the story is supposed to look like with their own flavor. Again, example, Expedition 33. Prime example. So I'm hoping that one day we can get that same feature. And that's why, I would hope to work with what's it called? Work with a AAA studio. We'll see. That will be the hope and joy that AA studio would be willing to work with us. Who knows? God willing, of course. A AA studio could be look at my stream tomorrow night and be like, oh wow, they have a pretty good idea here. Let me go check out the Patreon page. Oh, I like what I see. And they may contact us. You never know. Give me one more. Let me drink some water real quick. Excuse me, sorry. You never know. The world is an oyster, and we're all, chilling out here, and we can hope and pray. But let's go here and shovel in some of these updates of what's happened this week for Pandora's Price, as there's quite a few updates. And again, don't get them here while I'm live on Twitch. I have these same notes will be pushed out onto our Patreon page for tonight because it's Sunday. Sunday is Developer Note Sunday. Then Tuesday is Storytime Tuesday. Friday is Lore Friday. And then in the in-betweens, I may release off-brand posts and stuff because I love posting on Patreon because that just means you guys know that we're doing something. So, to give you guys a brief overview, development has continued for across the Pandora's Price universe, with significant mechanical progress in the war game system, steady investment in the TTRPG, equipment framework, and continuing editing of the novel's early chapters, which, like I said earlier in the beginning of the stream, chapters 4 and 5 of our novel, The King of Sand, have come out of the editing and formatting process, and I will be dropping those out to everybody for tomorrow, Monday, at 3 p.m. Because 3 p.m. here on EST, that's literally right before we get off work, and I try to release stuff around the times people get off work, because me releasing things early in the morning, sure, for the people who are night check that are sleeping, could wake out of their good sleep to go look at our stuff on Patreon, or I can release it when everyone gets off work during the day, and for the people who work night check and they are up after midnight because they got off at like 11:30 or something, they can go take a peek at Pandora's Price, still relatively early in the release of the post. And then there are those people who don't sleep and then they just look at it anyways. But hey, regardless, Steady Message, TTRPG framework, and we've, like I said, chapters 4 and 5 just will be coming out tomorrow for our paid subscribers. This week also marked the early development of a new project for the Pandora's Prize franchise, and I'm here to let you guys know that we've officially the next edition is, if anyone is familiar with Magic the Gathering, sorry. Please, Magic the Gathering. Pandora's Prize also has a card game as well, because we want to cater to everybody. I'm just let you know, the founder and creator of Pandora's Prize is a wizard when it comes to developing these source manuals, because that's just what he loves. He loves creating source manuals, creating framework, rules, regulations, steps of how to and where to. That's his deal. That's his thing. He loves doing it. And when he gets his mind set on working on something, answer your question, will it be on console? That is the idea, to be able to offer it to all platforms. We don't want to gatekeep away from no one. This whole, platform specific, whatever Marmbo Jumbo, it kind of sucks. But again, with that, we would love to offer to all platforms. That's the plan. But you have to remember, in the legalities and all that, for example, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's focus on those three guys for real quick. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but within the last week, PlayStation has officially removed all its PlayStation exclusive games off of the Steam store, because they're afraid of the Steam deck and the Steam interface being integrated into Xbox. And that means all PlayStation exclusives would then be on Xbox, and all Steam games would be on Xbox, and all Nintendo games that are on Steam, which is very little by the way, would be on Xbox. And of course, they want money just like everybody else. Just they wanted a lot more than the rest of us. The rest of us are just trying to survive. We need money to survive. These guys just want money for greed's sake. I don't know. Have no clue why they decided to sign back up for console wars. Have no clue. I was really happy that a lot of PlayStation exclusives were coming to Steam, but now those are gone. And it's all starting with Wolverine. So for all the ones that are up there right now, they're going to stay there until Wolverine gets released. And if you have purchased one of those games from the Steam store that's a PlayStation exclusive, like Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, you already got it. They can't take it off your computer or your Steam store. You already made your purchase. You already got your money for it. But going post Wolverine release, those games will be gone. You will not be able to purchase them no more. So once Wolverine for PlayStation exclusive now is released, all exclusive on Steam store have been janked. And Xbox obviously does not care, because Steam and Xbox are pretty much like this. Yes, unfortunately, Helldivers will be going with it, because they will be it's a PlayStation exclusive. So if you've already paid and bought Helldivers on Steam as of right now, you will keep it. You will have it. You will have to honor those purchases because they've already been made. But say Wolverine comes out and then you go up there after the fact, or coming up to Wolverine's release date, those games will not be up there no more. Any game that's a PlayStation exclusive that's on the Steam store is getting yoinked. Unless you already purchased them, then you don't have to worry about it. They gotta they gotta honor those purchases. Now, I don't know how they're gonna work on online platform games that have cross-platform compatibility from PlayStation. I don't know how this is gonna work going in the future. I don't think they will shift too much. But don't quote me on that one. They could find some sleazebag way and say, well, since you've got the game on Steam, you can't play online because it's a PlayStation exclusive. They got to find a way to sell the PlayStation 6, and since they kinked the PlayStation 6 release indefinitely until RAM and stuff makes sense again, they're going to find a way to resell PlayStation 5 times a billion, and they've forever now. PlayStation console wars has just been the thing. So, but to not go off too far, Andrew, that was a good question, really good question. No. I would love to get our game to go on all platforms, but when they got console wars, everyone's going to want to bid, and depending, say Pandora's Price is crushing it. Say Pandora's Price is on top of the universe here. Let's look at our groups of gamers here. We got PlayStation over here, Xbox over here, Nintendo over here, and then we'll bring Steam over here. You got 4 groups. Everybody knows that Steam is the biggest retail sales of video games, period. End of subject. There's no room for debate here. Nintendo has their little niche community, and however that washes out. Xbox has their little niche community, and how that washes out. And then PlayStation has their little niche community, and how this washes out. As a studio, and looking for a potential studio to really make our game, what is going to get us the best bang for our buck to reach the most audience that we can? We could give the game to PlayStation and make it a PlayStation exclusive, and we could get a lot of money out of that. You know, we could help PlayStation bring more purchases to PlayStation, because Pandora's Price is this hot new thing on the press, and everybody wants a piece of it. But we have now barred everybody else from being able to play Pandora's Price's video game, because now it is only on PlayStation. And now it's set to a limited community. And I don't want that. If I had to pick the lesser of two evils, I would give it to Steam, because Steam will have it, Xbox will have it, Nintendo will never have it, because Nintendo will be Nintendo until the end of the universe, and unless they re-change their policies and settings, they will never get embedded with anything that goes with Steam or Xbox or PlayStation. They just never will. They are on their own greed train, and I don't want to do any greed train with them at all. So I'd personally give it to Steam, because Steam will reach the most audience and won't bar it away from people. Sorry, PlayStation. I just really hate console wars. And if in the future, when the game develops, and that whole console war thing exists or doesn't exist, maybe Pandora's Price can go to all platforms and then everybody can enjoy it. But until then, unfortunately, we'll just have to pick and choose and figure out how we get there. Because who knows, maybe it does so well, we can get everybody to the table and be like, hey, can you guys stop fighting? Can we release this game on all platforms? Maybe we'll get a yes, or maybe we'll get a hell no. Don't know, because they just love money. That's just corporate greed for you, and I just can't even sometimes. But to answer your question, Andrew, in a very long-winded explanation, that's one of the idea plans that we have for the future. Now, back to these updates real quick. All right, war game development. So, again, top-down look here. Anyone that's familiar with war game like Warhammer 40k, this is pretty much what I'm talking about. 3 infantry unit archetypes were tested. Range, melee, hybrid. We tested all 3. We tested their strengths, we tested their weakness, and we checked conditions for the optimal battlefield. The stress test was all unit types performed within expected range relative to their point cost. So, again, I'm not gonna ring out all those numbers, but to my paid subscribers who have privy to these extra niche details, will be on Patreon to be able to gift to you. But as a brief shaman, know that we tested 3 types of units and a few hybrid units, and they all to try to see how well they performed, based off of reviewing data and stuff. They're testing well as of right now for these units. They're testing well. I'll give you guys that. They are testing well. And for those who really love those super niche details, they want to be, yes, I need to know every number and digit about, point costs and damage output for Warhammer type related aspects. Be on my Patreon, be on our Patreon, and you'll be able to read that information for yourself. Moving, general mechanics wise, still on the war game here, general mechanics wise, while developing the unit mechanics, several areas of the core rules require minor clarification and a little bit of adjustment. Nothing too crazy. It's just going to take us some time to kind of wash all that stuff to make sure everything synergizes and works well as far for the general rules. Because if your rules suck and they don't work well, the game just sucks in general. So, and we don't want to release a sucky game to you guys. We want to release a good game to you guys. We want the game to feel fun and that the rules make sense. So that is kind of in terms of all that right there, the general mechanic. Clarify a little bit of stuff and adjust a little bit of other stuff so that it all makes sense. Rules as written is a big thing in war games. If the war game don't say anything about it, then it doesn't apply. And we don't want that because a lot of codexes and a lot of the BRB stuff over the years of Warhammer, if it's not written or if there's room for debate, it happens every single time. Every single time, and it takes away time from playing the game. So to help fix that issue, we need to make sure it is plain in writing. Now, can we plan for every situation? No, we can't. But what we can do is try to make sure that we develop better from the origin point. And the only way to find out how well those things work is if you guys kind of give us the, oh, this, that, and other, and this, and that. So as time marches on and we get to a better point, we would like to release to you guys these stuffs, these source manuals and stuff, so that you guys can test it and you guys tell us how well it works. And then we'll take back that information, but all right, great, we need to do X, Y, and Z, because like I said, we're a developing studio. We're developing a universe, and another important part of developing is going into alpha, going into beta, so that people can get those opportunities to try these things out and give us good feedback. As of right now, it is slated to go up there, and whether we have 1 million subscribers or we only have 2 or 3 subscribers, these systems will come out and be available to whatever group of individuals we're offering it to at the time on Patreon will come out, and these groups will be there to field test these actual mechanics for themselves and give us back feedback. So, moving on. Unit type developments. Like I told you, infantry, ground vehicles, mounts. Pretty much the 3 main groups that we're going for here. Infantry, as of right now, in terms of rules, pretty much the codex of infantry. As of right now, hold on, for the alpha test drop. Okay, so between the different things that we have cooking on the hot press, we'll start with the war game because we're talking about the war game right now. As for the war game, as far as it's concerned, we're going to be releasing pretty much 3 separate alphas to kind of not mix and match them all together. Infantry, ground vehicles, mounts. They all have their own separate alpha phases, their own separate beta phases to be tested out individually. And then once we get all that data back and all the good stuff is implemented and changed, then they will all come back together as one big thing for a true alpha and a true beta. Infantry, the plan right now is we're looking at potentially 2 weeks at a minimum for an alpha phase of the infantry. Just infantry, nothing else, just infantry. 2 weeks. Now, of course, I will post on Patreon if that changes, but as of right now, what I'm tracking and talking with the developer, the creator of the universe, we're tracking 2 weeks. So, tune into our Patreon page. We're also on TikTok, we're also on YouTube, and of course, I go live on Twitch Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and if I'm live playing the game, talking about Pandora's Price, talking about whatever the heck I'm talking about, you can jump into the stream and you can ask the question, hey, what's the status on X, Y, and Z? And I will answer those questions for you because, like I said, that's my job. My job is to talk to the community about Pandora's Price and let you know what's up, what the developer's got in his head, and let you know, hey, this is what's going on. So 2 weeks, Andrew. 2 weeks. If it changes, I will make sure to post it out on the necessary social media platforms so that you know. So when I find out, I'll make sure to get it to you as soon as possible. So, like I said, upcoming release, 2 weeks is the plan. If it changes, I'll let you know. We'll be letting you guys test out the infantry, and you guys can kind of see what's up. Alright? That's the plan. So, we're going to shift away from the war game here, and we're going to jump into the TTRPG. Oh, sorry, not TTRPG. This new thing we're going to reveal. Like I was telling earlier in the stream, we're releasing a card game for Pandora's Price. Acronym TCG, trading card game. Just went into development. We've always talked about releasing a card game to play for Pandora's Prize because, like I said, every franchise aspect of Pandora's Prize tells a specific story. The war game tells the story about many various conflicts throughout the universe of Pandora's Prize. The card game will tell the story about each individual entity, faction, whatever, mainly factions. The war game talks about the factions in a superized summary and a lot of data, but the card game will give you that individuality of whoever the faction is talking about. But we're going to be bringing out a card game, and it's already gone into development. It's been in development for a while, but we wanted to wait to kind of see how it settles down within the lore and to make sure it kind of presses down well and it doesn't break something else that we're working on. And then, being that it kind of worked well and it synergized really well for the story and for the universe, we said, okay, we'll do it. We'll develop a card game, and we'll make it great. Not half-assed, great. And it's going to synergize really well with the war game in terms of the mechanics. So if you kind of understand the Pandora's Price war game and you understand it well, if you jump over to the card game, you will pretty much go, oh wow, this is sort of like the war game. A lot of synergy, a lot of the same nomenclature, a lot of the same rules and words utilized in the war game will be utilized in the card game. So there won't be no, oh, I gotta learn a whole new system. None of that. You will know that system really well, pretty much, not out the box, but outside of some aspects for the card game, you'll know it pretty well. Alright. So that is sitting well in the territory of development. I'd say early development, definitely so. More to follow as more updates come out of the process for that. Now, moving on to the TTRPG development. So, for the past week, me specifically, I'm the one that kind of leads the TTRPG development aspect for this particular aspect of our universe, is this thing called the Foundry. The Foundry is pretty much, think of this ginormous Walmart. Ginormous Walmart of Pandora's Price. Lack of better words. You come to Walmart to go shopping to buy the ingredients and pieces you need to create something total, like baking a cake. You go to Walmart to buy the eggs, to buy the milk, to buy whether it's homemade, the additional items like flour and stuff, or pre-made, which you just buy a box of, Little Debbie's or Dunkin's, cake mix. And then, you gather all those ingredients. Oh, and of course oil. And you gather all those ingredients, you buy them, you go to your house, and you make a cake. That is the Foundry. That's literally the Foundry. And it's a step-by-step phase that you get to do to make stuff. Now, in Pandora's Prize, to give everyone a great sum of awesomeness, Pandora's Prize has a crafting system, like legit crafting system, and it has a reward base. There is simple as just, basic, like step by step, and it's done. And then there's the even more detailed version that we call the workshop. And the workshop pretty much is the people who send the products to Walmart to be sold is the workshop. The workshop is the people who take the raw material turn it into an item to be sold at Walmart so that you and I can go to Walmart and purchase those items along with the other various items that are needed to create a final product. That is the workshop. The supplier of Walmart. That's a workshop. So, not to jump off into anything like that, but the biggest push here is that to continue on TTRPG, the Foundry bows and crossbows sections has been completed and is undergoing its testing right now. So we're testing to see how well the Foundry works for Pandora's Prize. Because everything is for Pandora's Prize. It's not for just a TTRPG, not just for the card game, not just for the board game. It is for Pandora's Prize. Because as long as everything dedicates to the origin, everything will work out well long term. Because if we start making everything for the now and here, it just later down the road something might break and ruin a lot of stuff, and we don't want that. We rather have it just for the whole scope, not just the now scope. So, other things to look forward for the TPRPG. We'll be working on general equipment because there's a general equipment section of every game system, even Pandora's Prize. And our general equipment section is going to be absolutely insane, but we can't go overboard. We'll give you some here and there, like I said, framework, not railroad. Here's some stuff, not all the stuff. It's just more of like a helpful, hey, these are things to think about. The market stall is a section within the player scroll, and for those who are paid subscribers on Patreon, you can have access to the player scroll, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you will find the market stall section, which is still currently under development. And the market stall is pretty much where you'll again spend money that's in Pandora's Prize. Pandora's Prize's currency is called runes and script. Script being the smaller of the two, runes being the whole sum. Use that same currency to purchase stuff within the market stall. So that is the main push. That's pretty much the last thing that's holding the player scroll down from being into full release territory. The idea for that is to, well, again, it's still, open to the public, open to paid subscribers. So if you're a paid subscriber, you have access to the player scroll and pretty much mechanics, how to play the game, the rules and everything, all the examples and stuff, everything. Formatted editing up to the market stall is complete. So if you want, that thing is pretty much 95% of the way done. The last 5% is finishing the market stall, formatting, editing. And that's it for the player scroll. The player scroll is done. Now, it's done in the sense of the rough draft. It won't be truly done until we get some actual artwork in there, because right now all the artwork that's inside the player scroll is concept, AI generated, concept work and used as placeholders. Once we get an artist on retention or we start getting artwork done in there, then we can shift it from a draft to true completion, to where now it's like official. And the idea for that guy is that we're going to pretty much digital sell it first, and then as people want hard copies, if they want hard copies, whatever. Some people love having the hardbacks of books like that. The idea will be to try to do it through Amazon, because Amazon actually is really affordable in terms of, print and press type stuff, because they do a lot of, Amazon to creator type aspect, not Amazon third party and then creator. It's, hey, I'm a creator, I have this product I want to sell, can you sell on Amazon? And Amazon will be like, absolutely, what do you need us to do? It's a book, can you sell it? Ready ordered, or make 200 of them, send it to me and I'll sell it. And then either way, which way you pick, they will do that. And that's why Amazon's pretty awesome in terms of like that aspect. Now there's, print houses and stuff, but like print houses are expensive. Like to get 200 copies of the player scroll average right now, and I think it's 200 copies, it's like, I think it's like $15,000, 15 grand to get 200 books. I don't have 15 grand, and if I did have 15 grand, I would use it to create pictures and help further development of Pandora's Prize anyways. I would not buy those books, because if I can get you a digital copy to sell to you, I'd rather do that, because at least you can get it now, and then we will find a more substantial way, like I said, Amazon, to get you a physical copy. But not to sat on that too long, let's move on to the next update we have. Next thing is we're going to be coming on our player character sheet, which we're going to have two versions: the utility version, the standard version. The utility version is going to be pretty much like formatted in a way to make it, rated and follow this. And it pretty much is for those veteran players who want that extra, informational scope for the character sheet, rather than watered down and just like a summary of your character. This is like the full-on brunt information of your character. That way you can have everything documented, because Pandora's Prize has got a lot of information to document. So again, if you've read the player scroll and you've seen all the requirements for the player scroll in terms of character creation, you will see the reason why you need the utility version really quick. Now, that does not step away from the fact that there is a standard character sheet. Standard character sheet, you will be able to get that summary down look of character sheet. That way it doesn't have all that extra information that you don't really need to have up front, and you can still play your character with the necessary information here, and then you still have like the extra details over there. So working on getting that out to you guys, released. The plan is this week for those. It's currently in development and finish up in its last little formatting things. And once the formatting is all set for both of those, they will get released to everybody. So this will pretty much, the character sheets is supposed to help walk you through the character creation process. Because, player scroll is like a whole new beast. So to help further give you support, the character sheet will sort of show you the path of which information you need to fill. We'll be releasing a podcast further clarifying details on character creation process, so that to kind of help people in the beginning, because again, it's a new system and people need to learn. Now, moving into novel development, we have chapters 4 through 10, which 4 and 5 just got pushed for tomorrow. But we have chapters 4 through 10 drafted and formatted right now. Currently undergoing, excluding chapters 4 and 5, of course. 4 and 5 are coming out to you guys tomorrow. The rest of the remaining chapters are pretty much getting their last little editing or revision, and then those will be available eventually as time goes on. The idea is to kind of release 2 chapters a week to the highest tier subscribers first, because that's kind of their deal, and they're putting up that much money up front, so just to make it fair for them, they have that right to be able to get those early content releases to them. And then as time goes on, the rest of the chapters will do this sort of trickle down effect. And after about 3 weeks of those being up, they eventually fall off. And then, if you didn't get them while they're up, like I think this is week 2 for chapter 1 being available to everybody. After next week, chapter 1 will be scalped off the hot press and be taken off. The only things that will never ever be taken off of the page, because we want them up there, is the short stories. Short stories will stay up there, and Lore Friday stuff will stay up there. Oh, they won't get skipped, but like content like that will stay up for a certain amount of time and be recycled. And then eventually in the future, once we make it a little bit further down the road, it may come back. It may come back, it may not. It just depends on what we're pushing out to you guys. So look forward to those drafts coming out in the future. So just to summarize the upcoming content to look forward to, Story Tuesday, episode 2 of Pandora's Prize's short story will release. Lore Friday, we'll be talking about World War III arc for Pandora's Lore, so look forward to that. And last week's, I think, was covering the Genetic Wars. Genetic Wars? Yes, it was covering the Genetic Wars. So if you want to go hop up on the stream up there to look at that, check that out. Absolutely. Our podcast pretty much will this week will promote our lore. We will try to put something up there for development insight, and maybe we might talk about some mechanics. It just depends on how much offload that the creator wants to put up there. My job is to kind of just translate his vision and what it looks like. So, future objectives for the war game: continue ground vehicle and unit mechanics. We're gonna keep working on that. Gonna keep processing, keep developing that, making it synergize well with the game. For the TTRPG, the market stall for the player scroll is our main focus. Pushing through that as much as we possibly can. I already told you about the novel, but to finish working through those chapters, I'll tell you that chapters 6 to 10 finish through revisions and editing. Right now, you have access. You'll get access tomorrow to chapters. You have access right this second to chapters 1 through 3 for all my paid subscribers. 1 through 3. Chapter 1 is actually available to free members as well, but chapters 2 and 3 is for my paid subscribers. For my free people, you will get access to chapters 2 and 3 the following week, and then chapter 1 will come off. So y'all get chapters 2 and 3. My highest tier subscribers will then get chapters 6 and 7. When 4 and 5 comes down to my next set tier of paid subscribers, and we kind of have that kind of cycle running through. All right, closing notes for my developing the mannequin for the war game. It's something we really want to try to get pushed out there to the best of our ability. If we can, great. If not, that sucks. But we are going to keep working on it as much as we can. We're not going to let it fall short because it's the main feature for the war game. But we got to make sure we lay the foundation well first, so that the mannequin can stand on its own 2 feet with the rules and stuff. So we'll keep look forward to that. Those updates as future notes come out. For the next several weeks, we'll focus heavily on expanding the unit types and preparing the systems for early player feedback for the war game. That is the main focus right now for the war game. The TTRPG, we also want to get feedback, and we want to push that into alpha phase, and we're real close. Look forward to about maybe the war game and the TTRPG going into alpha together. The market stall, yes, it is important, but it's not the end-all be-all for the game, as the mechanics are already written, developed, tested, and everything already for Pandora's price. The TTRPG aspect. So not to jump off of that, we want to make sure that we don't skimp on any of those details. So look forward to the war game. Infantry, remember, infantry, 2 weeks. The tabletop RPG, 2 weeks. Both of those 2 systems will come out to you guys, to my Patreon subscribers, for you guys to test, try out, to see how they work, to see how they synergize, and you guys get to see all of what has been developed for the past 17 years. As if anyone has ever developed a TTRPG system, or war game, or a card game, or a novel system that synergizes well with your universe, you know the struggles of trying to make sure that all works. And we ain't gonna skimp on that details that you guys rightfully deserved. Welcome to those who just joined the stream. We're currently going through the developer notes from the past weeks of what we worked. These same notes will be available on our Patreon page for people to review and see our progress. Last week's developer notes are still up there and will remain up there for the entire month. So let's take my money. I'm sorry, your I don't know why it let me see if I can undo that. All right, let's see. All right. Oh, let's see. Well, I'm sorry about that, Kendra, but I definitely would love to take your coins in time, but I don't want to take it now because, there it is. I definitely would love to, but again, we want to bring you guys valuable content that warrants you guys paying all those funds for our subscription tiers. I don't want you to guys be paying, because our tiers are broken up $3, $5, $15, $30, and $60 for the highest. All those, that's money. That's money that you guys work hard for. You guys work your jobs and stuff to collect those funds. I'm not meant to release some half-baked stuff, and I got people paying $30 to $60 for what? Now, if you're paying those high-priced subscriptions, even my $3 subscription people, I'm not gonna just leave you high and dry with random stuff. I want you guys to get what your money's worth. You pay me those, you pay us that, donate us those different sums, you should receive in kind of what it's worth. Even for free people who don't even pay for the game, you'll 100% still get certain contents available to you, so you can kind of feel out how everything works and the progress and stuff that you see. Yeah, welcome those to the stream. I really do appreciate you for dropping in. I'm just currently going over my developer notes for our Pandora's Price universe, which covers a war game, a tabletop, a card game, which just recently got revealed, and then a novel series. And these developer notes, pretty much, if you didn't catch them here on Twitch, I post all my Twitch videos to which alpha, Andrew? Are you talking about the war game or the TTRPG? Well, regardless, whichever one you're talking about, unfortunately for both of those, you have to subscribe. Not unlike some of our content, like the war game and the TTRPG, both of those systems will be available to all of our subscribers, whether you're a $3 subscriber or a $60 subscriber. We just want to put it out to you guys so that you guys can test, try, test, and get back to us on whatever details and stuff you can get. Our lowest subscriber price is $3, so you literally can pay $3 and alpha test the TTRPG and the war game, and still get back to us on super awesome feedback. As I'll make sure to enable the. Well, I'm trying to think the best way to receive feedback. Comments will be turned on all that stuff, but I'm probably thinking, oh, by the way, when you do pay and you subscribe to our Patreon page, if your Discord is linked to your Patreon account, the Patreon will then assign you a role inside of our Discord server, and in the Discord server, you will have the opportunity to chat in the general chats, and depending on which tier you pay for, will afford you more opportunities within the Discord server, all the way up to the $60 subscription fee, to be able to actually have a chance to talk to the creator and developer of Pandora's Price. So, if that's something you'd be interested in, by all means, you don't have to, because I'm just gonna let you know, the creator of Pandora's Price, he would talk to any and everybody, within reason, of course. If there's questions that have to be asked, if you have questions, hit us up on Patreon, hit us up on our various social media platforms, hit us up on Discord, and I will do my best, and he will do his best to answer those questions as soon as possible, because even our free subscribers, every question matters. Now, depending on what the contents of that question is, will privy us to answer how much of it we can. Now, just being transparent here, if you ask some high-level questions like, I believe Dark Kendrick, on my Friday stream, he had the opportunity to talk with a developer, because the developer decided to join me on my stream that night. And he asked him a high-level question about a particular faction, and my brother was so excited because he watched the intro, and it gives out a whole lot of details and lore and stuff of the universe, and it generates a lot of questions. And because my brother Kendrick, Dark Kendrick is my brother, for those that, I know it doesn't really matter, but he was playing with me that night, the developer was there that night, it was just happenstance. He asked the developer that question. The developer answered it without, shutting him down, because that question was like behind the door type stuff. Now, if he was nothing that Dark Kendrick or anything, but if he had the higher tier subscription, he might have, more than likely he would, have gotten the answer to that question because he would have been afforded those opportunities to know. So there's gives and takes with, depending on what tier you go with. If you go with the highest tier, you're going to be pretty much, if everybody in this chat was the highest tier subscriber right now, one, I would be streaming the Patreon as well as this, and you may have gotten literally to look at the developer notes and all the details and stuff that I have up here. But we're streaming on Twitch right now, and a lot of people come up here. A lot of people aren't paid subscribers, and not to treat the paid subscribers unfairly, I can't just give out all the good juicy details out the front door. So if you want to have that extra, yes, my $60, $50, $30, well, sorry, not $60 and $30, even the $15 ones, if you want to, I value those people a lot, not as if more than, the $3 and $5 ones, because those are valuable too, but like I have to, make those other subscriber tiers feel like, wow, they really do care about me giving them my hard-earned money. Right? Yes, we do. It's no different than you buying a new game off of Steam. You want the game to be good. You don't want it to be crap, and then a lot of people, return games out because, oh, this is not what I anticipated. It can happen. It can happen. We can't sit here and assume that. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm excited that you're excited, Andrew, and like I said, the alphas for both of those will be coming out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks for the alpha phases for both the war game infantry section only, and then TTRPG. To be able to, actually test out those two systems. I don't know what the creator has for the TTRPG in terms of what he wants to put out. It could be one of these episodes from the season, and it could be it could be just us giving you the player scroll and a character sheet and letting you take those two tools and creating your own story, which can work, following the frameworks of the player scroll. Just to kind of clear up some confusion, compared to Dungeons and Dragons, which Dungeons and Dragons, if you want to be a GM in Dungeons and Dragons, it almost requires you to buy the GM's manual. That doesn't apply here in Pandora's Prize. There is a GM's manual in Pandora's Prize, but it's not the straw that breaks the camel's back on whether someone can be a judge in Pandora's Prize. Yes, does it help having it? Yeah, it does. But like I've been saying this entire stream, it is the framework, not the railroad. Everything's been kind of coming from the idea of framework. We want people to have freedom and ability to do what they want to do, not follow what we tell you to do. Just because the rule isn't written in the tabletop, the war game, the card game, novel series is, a novel, that doesn't count, but the other three aspects of the game doesn't mean that the game is broken. It's just that, the way we designed it, it allows you to be able to experience the game how you want to experience, not how I want you to experience. I mean, sure, do I want you to experience it how I intended to design it? Sure, yeah, I guess. But as a developer, I want you to be able to play the game how you want to play the game, not how I want you to play the game. So the only way to do that is to develop a framework for you to kind of get a good guide and understanding, and then from there you just out of the nest. And that's it. And believe it or not, developing stuff like that to that level is really difficult because you have to write rules as well as explanations and enough framework for people to follow and still be able to play the game, even for those people who don't want that whole out the nest experience. If they just want this is as far as I go and they're happy, you gotta include those people. Or I really need that extra level of detail. I want to go to the weeds in the undergrowth. We gotta cater to those people too. And then we have to even cater to the people who literally just has not enough time to think about anything and they just want to jump in and play. That's why we have different aspects that we want to offer to people. So Andrew, seeing that you're really excited, you can't wait for the alpha, it makes me super happy. I'm definitely going to make sure that the founder is aware that people are excited. And I tell him every single day because he works really hard on Pandora's Price. And I try to keep him motivated and keep him excited. And seeing that comment is going to make his world. He loves that stuff. He loves community relations. I wish he could be here tonight, but he's busy doing other things. And I'll make sure that your words reach him so that he can know that people are excited. People are excited. And this will just further solidify the fact that, dude, we have something really great that people are going to really love. They love freedom. And that's pretty much our motto. It's free. Doing different better is our motto. That's our whole ethos. Doing different better. Different isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone helps you develop better as a person. So, to help further, solidify that, we have to paint the image, paint the canvas perfectly, as perfect as possible. It'll be perfect as humanly possible as we can possibly manage. So, let's see what else I got up here on my notes. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the developer notes. I'm going to be releasing the developer notes probably about 30 minutes after my stream here. So if you missed it here, or you had missed a little bit because you stepped away from the computer, or you're distracted, like I know you've seen me kind of get distracted a few times because I have my wife and kids. I'm a dad. And I would love to keep streaming until midnight, but I can't because I have to wake up and go to work. Just like a lot of people in life have to get up and go to work. So listen, me and the founder, we understand that you gotta put them hours in to be able to get what you want. And that's what requires Pandora's Price. In order for it to succeed and grow, we gotta put those hours in so that people can get what they want, which is a unique experience, not guarded and fenced off, but a real framework to really go off and do whatever adventure that you want. Or bring whatever adventure you just came from over to Pandora's Price. Like I said, the porting tool inside of the player scroll for characters from different TTRPG systems exists, so that you had a really awesome character in D&D or GARPs, bring them over. Just follow the steps of how to do it, and then it will translate exactly into the player scroll. Now, with all that said, do I have any questions from you guys on the stream? I'm going to take about a good 10-15 minutes to answer you guys' questions. I know I've been talking a whole lot, but I'm going to multitask here. I got to finish typing stuff so I can post it on Patreon. But I'll take I'll take 15 minutes to answer you guys' questions, and then after that, pretty much, if I have no more questions or you guys are pretty much good, I'll probably be done streaming for the night so I can get ready to go to bed so I can go to work. So, I open the floor to you guys for questions. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to type all of these up. Yeah, this is your opportunity. You have my 100%, 75%, not because I'm ignoring you, but because I'm really trying to get this for you guys out there so you can read it and stuff. So I need 25% here, 75% for you guys. That 75% is all you guys. So if a message pops up on the feed and stuff, I will answer those questions. I will answer whatever questions I can if it's a war game, the TTRPG, the newly released card game, the novel, the short stories, any lore aspects that I can answer for you, I'll answer them to the best of my ability. You want to ask about Pandora's Price? Ask about Pandora's Price. On a side note, I also write novels myself. That's what kind of got me the ability to work on this project, because I myself work on my own novels. I myself develop my own campaigns. I have a little bit. Not a little bit. A lot of experience in that kind of stuff. And when I pretty much, showed my resume to the founder and stuff, and I started talking to him and stuff, he was just like, "Wow, this is exactly what I need. Are you interested?" And I'm not gonna tell any untruths. I always had the dream of developing a game that from when I was young. But as I grew up, that dream kind of ended up in the trash can because I was trying to think of a more realistic aspect. And then, fate, the Lord, fate and God himself kind of opened that door back up for me. I didn't even expect it. I didn't even know what I was getting into, and now here I am. I have the opportunity to tell you guys all about this exciting experience that's coming out there for you guys. Who knows? I'm not going to stop until you guys stop. And even if you guys stop supporting us, I'm still going to keep going because I know it's something great, something amazing. So, by all means, the floor is still open to you guys. You guys go ahead, ask your questions. Pick my brain. See what you could get me to fumble in terms of, oh, you're not supposed to know that yet. That's for future stuff. I mean, you might get lucky. You never know. Let's see here. So I think, do I have another post that I gotta make? Let's see here. Oh, I got 2 pages. All right. Trying to think. Oh yes, Story Tuesday. I need to get that open. Actually, yes. Let's see here. Where we at? Oh, I am in the wrong folder. Yep. Why are you being lame? Stop being lame. Alright, minimize that. There we go. I don't want it to block you guys' screen. You know what? Since I kind of got you guys here real quick, I'm gonna show you, just because, I think you guys deserve to see it. But let's bring up a lot of the concept art that we have. Open that here. Wait a second. I'll bring a lot of concept images. Remember, don't bite my head off. A lot of this is AI generated. But I still want to take this opportunity to show you guys what concepts that you let's see here. Alright. And then I gotta change the stream. I'm gonna mute that music because switching out overlays. Alright, so I want you guys to take the opportunity to look at a lot of the concept art we have here for Pandora's Crisis Universe. These are all concept images. This is just what time we've taken to invest in each individual aspect of Pandora's Price, because everything, all of it matters. And I want you guys to get excited and experience these different, overlays here. Not overlays, but different imagery that we have for the entire universe. And this is only but the tip of the iceberg. I'm gonna try not to. Give me a second here. I'm not gonna try to ruin your views here, but I gotta open up. I gotta still work on it as best as I can while you guys are kind of, hunting through here. But hey, if you're liking what you see, these are all conceptual. These are all aspects within Pandora's Price, and I'm excited to be able to show you guys this. I think I did a video on TikTok that kind of follow this same framework, and I think it's just really good tool to be able to do this for you guys, because you guys deserve to get a conceptual look of what is going on in the universe. I want you guys to be able to look at it, experience it, be excited for it. I mean, like Andrew said in the chat, he's excited for the alpha test, and I want you guys to keep the hype going. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your friends of friends. You know, share our posts and stuff on your social media platforms. You know, spread the word, because the more traction we get, the more people that come into the system, the just more people that you get to kind of chit chat and relate with. It's just all part of the process. And you know what? It's a journey that we all get to undertake and go there. Andrew, I'm gonna let you know right now. You want a space kraken? There'll be a space kraken. I can't really drop any things on this, but we have something in the framework that kind of, synergizes with your frame of mind. I will let you know. So look for an update on that project. I think you'll really enjoy it. I think, Andrew, these questions you're asking, we have the answers to all of these to the best of our ability. There can be and will be a space kraken. So I gotta get this. Man. Alright, hold on. I must be tripping. I feel like I kind of skimmed past the search here. Yep. Let's see here. Hey. Go. Alright. Yeah, there will be space kraken. All of this is concept art, AI generated based off of descriptions that we have from our lore documents. So these people aren't just, make me a random person and this is what it is. No, these is literally, we take descriptions, we take lore data, we take lore documents, we take stories, and we go to these AI models and we're like, hey, this is the description of what it looks like in the environment that it exists in. I want an image. And then it comes up with these. And these are not just made up random things. This is just literally in our lore archive of information that we have at our disposal. And, this just helps paint the picture of Pandora's Price better for you guys. Because I don't know about you, but I don't got artistic skills like this, and I would never have this artistic skill in a trillion years. So to kind of keep up with that, we just do what we gotta do, Oh man, I'm gonna have that. Not to interrupt anything here, but I need to grab what's it called? There is a window that I need to grab from that screen, and it's gonna mess up the. It'll be fun. I have to grab it. So sorry about that. Didn't mean to interrupt that, but I grabbed it real quick so I can pull it over. All right. So I'm working on, like I said, some projects. All right. So please, again, still ask your questions. Ask your questions. Ask your questions, because you know what? Whatever question, if you see something on the screen that you got a question about and I can answer it, please ask, and I will try my due diligence to answer those questions to the best of my ability. Let's see. I hate these dang, Top viewers stream boot up. Bots. I'm glad I got WizBot. WizBot definitely be coming in and third partying a lot of these random things that don't belong here. Not to not take away from what really matters. Alright. Let's see here. Alright, so let's see. So let's alright, let's bring this back to me. Bring it back to me. Great. So just to kind of finish out what we got here and stuff, again, just to kind of finish out the tab here. I really do appreciate you guys coming to the stream. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the creator. It means a lot to just the future of what Pandora's Prize is trying to offer. We do have a TikTok. The TikTok is going to be on the bottom of the screen here. These are my social media stuff because I do stream on Twitch Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, not Thursday, sorry, pardon me. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I stream on Twitch, like such as right now. And depending on what's going on, like today, and this is pretty normal, Sundays I usually do a stream for Pandora's Prize. And, you know, if you want to get in contact with me as a community manager, I am contactable by these social media links. Also, on Patreon, you can get me there. If you're in our Discord, you can get me there too. Like, there's 5 different ways you can reach out to us. And then that's still excluding the fact that you can find Pandora's Prize on YouTube. You can find Pandora's Prize on TikTok. You can find Pandora's Prize on Facebook. You can find Pandora's Prize on, well, I don't think it's on Twitter. It's on Reddit, though. You can find Pandora's Prize on Reddit as well. The war game. Have you played Warhammer 40k? I'll answer this question real quick before we end the stream here. If you've ever played Warhammer 40k, the actual tabletop war game, that is the war game that is like what is close comparable. You know, a bunch of miniature armies and stuff attacking stuff. Listen, and I'm gonna throw this out here. I only played Stellaris one time, and that was early Friday. That was my first time playing. But to kind of give you an idea of comparing Stellaris to our war game, to give you a better idea, yes and no. Yes, because there's troops to be controlled. No, because a lot of the aspects that Stellaris covers, such as, like, you know, gathering resources to create units, no. That's not how war games play. War games play in the idea of you have certain point thresholds. You got 500, 1,000, 1,500 point thresholds and beyond if you want, but those are usually the common numbers. And with those points, you have to purchase units from an army type of a faction. For example, we'll take Warhammer, for example. We'll take everyone, I mean, if you don't know what Warhammer is, but we'll just take one of the more iconic things that people's heard, Space Marines. The Space Marines have different factions of Space Marines that are still a part of the Imperium of Man. So you say that you want to be the Ultramarines, which is the Blue Space Marines. If anyone played the new Space Marine 2 game that came out in late 2024, early 2025 when it came out. If you've played that game, you know who the Ultramarines are, but that would be the faction. The faction is the Ultramarines. You'd have 500 points to purchase different units within the Ultramarines. That will go from ground units, vehicles, both flying and ground. Your commander, which is the leader of your little army that you're creating, which in Warhammer, you would be required to have units and a commander at a bare minimum to play the game. So once you use your points to purchase the said units you need to have, you would have to think about, tactics, combat phases, all that good stuff to kind of, overcome your opponent, because your opponent's job is to, defeat you on the battlefield, which is the board. The board being a table, because of course you have to move them in real time. There's objectives to accomplish. So like Stellaris, there's different victory types. And those victory types, domination, diplomacy, unification, whatever it may be. In the war game tabletops, it's kind of the same things. There's different. Oh, hold on. YouTube is awesome. Craziness. Skip ads. All right. So sorry. Sorry about that. So to continue on, there's different victory conditions, and within those victory conditions, there's objectives that you need to accomplish in order to finish that victory condition. If that makes sense. To answer your question, Andrew. So that's how that works. Oh, okay. I kind of know that right there. So let's see. No, we're not. Okay. All right. So, well, not to delineate, like I said. Now, again, if you're super interested and you really want to be part of Pandora's Price, you can find us on Patreon at Pandora's Price. I'll make sure it's here. I'll do you guys even a better one. I will, here, I got you. I'm going to have drop the link in the chat. Right there. That's our Patreon link right there. So if you want to click on it and join our Patreon page, you can go there and join. The link is also in my About descriptions of my page. But again, you can find us on TikTok. You can go on TikTok and look up Pandora's Price. If you go on YouTube and look up Pandora's Price, we're up there. If you go on Reddit, we're on Reddit as well, and we're on Facebook as well, and then of course, Patreon itself. So if you want to get in contact with us, you can look up, on one of those various social media platforms. Oh, we also have a Discord server as well. So if you want to look us up on Discord, you can look us up on Discord as well. Just be understanding on Discord, we do have, subscriber tiers that are related to our ranks. So if you join through our Discord directly by yourself, you'll automatically be thrown into a free subscription. But if you pay and your Discord is linked up to your Patreon page, you'll be assigned to your relative rank of subscription that you pay for. But outside that, again, thank you guys for showing up for the stream. I really do appreciate it. Again, I stream on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So if you have more questions or you want to tune in to watch me play some video games with whatever game I'm playing, I usually mostly do RPGs, first-person shooters, and MMOs. So if that's the kind of stuff you like, I do the occasional, swap out to RTSs like I did on Friday for Stellaris. I do the occasional swap out for Souls games because I am a Soulsborne player. I started my Twitch stream doing Soulsborns, and I will never forget where I came from. So, again, if you're really looking forward to those things as well, catch me there. I also have my own Discord server also, so if you want to just follow my Discord server, pretty much anything I post through my page on Patreon and stuff like that on that Discord server, I generally translate it over to my Discord server as well. So with that, I really do appreciate you guys coming out, and you guys have a good night, and I'll catch you guys next time on the next stream. Of course, if you can't wait till Friday to contact me, again, hit us up on our various social media platforms and we'll answer your questions there. You guys have a good night.